This great artist there and not in my beloved city. A bit jealous. But now we are here, so we are all together here. It's so nice and honored to be with you. So I'll start with my questions.
Can I just say one thing?
Please do. I'm sorry. Yeah.
I really want to let everyone know my wife Justine is here with me, but we are so thrilled to be here in Istanbul. And I've been wanting to come to Istanbul for such a long time. And things were planned, but for one reason or another, it didn't happen. But this could not be more meaningful at this time to be here. So Ali, thank you. It's wonderful to be here with the fair. I'm really enjoying seeing what I've been able to see so far, but really the treat is for me. I'm so happy to be here.
All right. So, the art world is becoming or has become an art industry and moving towards the East, if you agree. It is continuously becoming more and more off-center from the West, which we see, which we observe. Last example was Frieze Art Fair rushing to Seoul a few weeks ago. So under these circumstances, what would you say about Istanbul's position? How do you see Istanbul's positioning?
It's hard to think of a better position than what Istanbul, where you're located, what Istanbul represents. The meeting place of the East and the West, and of international trade, travel, information, just curiosity. But it's wonderful how technology has helped open up the world, made so many opportunities for artists all around the world, different galleries, everybody to have a voice that it's louder, it's more clear. So it's fantastic, and only positive, wonderful things will come from this. And it's that people are able to communicate and redefine what's important to us today. The world that we live in now at this moment, society, how we view the world, and our position. I mean, we are global. It's completely, as Istanbul knows, the whole history of being involved in a global movement of ideas. You couldn't be in a more perfect location. And it's within these walls here today.
Thank you. So Jeff, you are one of the most famous and successful artists working mainly in America and all around the world, of course, today. What can someone like you, who has a big role in the market, say about the digital architecture, this world of metaverse, that defines the art world in a way, and art itself these days? What do you think?
You know, throughout history, and a city, again, back to where we're located in Istanbul, you know how technologies affect the world. And every generation deals with the technologies, and it transforms the daily life of the people that are living at that time. And we're no different at this moment. I think it's always important, though, that we realize, or artists can keep in mind, that technology is just a tool, though, and that the art itself still comes from our biological memory, what we have within our inner being, within our DNA and our cells, and what we're able to carry with us in life, this type of profound memory of what it means to be human and our individual experiences that we have every day. It's a tool to help us make the type of gesture to bring out what we find meaningful, not only to ourselves, but what we can share with other people.
Yeah, okay, but, well, my next question will be also similar to what we have just said, based on technology. Technological developments force the way of making art, and media to change dramatically, just like every practice in the world. So have there been recent technologies that have dramatically changed your workflow or the way you think?
Absolutely. I mean, starting, I remember when we had cell phones, and I remember the first cell phone I had was this huge, large box that I'd carry around. But to have the internet and all the resources, before, if we were curious about researching something, following our interests in a particular area, we could go to a library or we could seek out the information, but it's just at our fingertips now. And all of this is multiplied in so many different directions, how technology helps bring in information to us to be able to realize our dreams and to be able to continue to pursue our interests. For myself, if I have to choose any technology, of course, the internet and being able to have this information, having the ability to make CAT scans and to work with scanning technologies has been very useful for me. It lets me expedite my work, that I can make work and realize it more precisely to my original intentions. But it's hard to pick anything in particular, because technologies are so overlayered within our lives. We're experiencing and interacting with things. When I think back when I was a child and we would go on a trip, we had to ask instructions everywhere, like how to be able to find our way, because we always needed somebody to help us. We didn't have the GPS or anything. So that's just a little example of just how profoundly our lives have changed. So it's very deeply woven.
Before moving to my next question, I'd like to share some information, first of all, about this project, Tersane Istanbul, because it's so important for us, for our fair, and for the art societies and art market in Turkey, I believe. We started last year, and this is our second edition in this venue. It's so enthusiastic. But the funny part, or the interesting part of the story is, this building was built in 15th century as arsenal by the Ottomans. And same time, same years, the Arsenal Venice was built again. So maybe you can see the similarities in the architecture, the design part of it. So both spaces were building warships. And those warships were fighting among each other in the Mediterranean Sea. So now both places are serving art. Isn't it nice?
Ali, I mean, it is fantastic, and the similarities and the activity. But really what's so important here is that we're together. And people that can have shared interests. This is what I always loved about art, to be able to be part of a larger community. I always loved the Dada and the Surrealists, because they made me believe that, being part of the avant-garde is a way of life, but being made part of, that's the relevance. And to be here, that we share this interest, that we have this belief in the humanities, we have this belief in art, that somehow we can become better human beings, we can transcend who we are, and we can also share that with others. But it's that this is what we have in common, to be part of something together. That's really what's relevant.
Yeah, I agree. So, parallel to this, how do you position the future art spaces, will be my question. How would you say the role of the galleries, museums, and other similar institutions will play on the positioning of the art in the near future? Everything is changing, and also the spaces are changing. So, future art spaces, how do you see?
I mean, that's a tough question. And we're sitting in here in the Arsenality, so Of course, spaces will be adapted and will be used to benefit whatever the needs are at any time, at the present moment or in the future. More inclusiveness, so there'll be more and more need for exhibition space. I think that artists over the last several decades have been under the umbrella of kind of global kind of galleries. I don't know if that continues, because I think it's really nice that artists are be able to get out and to be able to discover their world on their own. It's like a child going out and being able to interact with different communities. And when you're just under the umbrella of one large global gallery that's in every city, you don't get the same sense of adventure. So just as an artist, I think that galleries don't have to be so large, so global. We can have an interaction and be showing globally and interacting and all of this communication, but it's nice to interact just with your feet on the ground in different locations.
Well, pop art, popular subjects have a great impact on your art since day one. What is your current obsession other than X8? If you have one, of course. So what's your current obsession in that sense, popular arts?
I love the idea of meaning. And so I've been working on a project which involves sending some pieces to space, to the moon, and in trying within the NFT community to be making a work that will function, part of it as an NFT, but to help continue the dialogue of meaning with the NFT community. And so I've designed artworks that will go to the moon. They will be displayed on the moon as a permanent heritage site, and they'll be photographed on the moon and be placed into an NFT situation. But that these individual sculptures are all tied to individuals that have lived in the past. Nobody is of contemporary time, but they're people that subjectively I've looked at throughout the world and throughout history of different people of accomplishment, and chose them to partake and to use their name. And so, in the end, the meaning and what's really relevant is what we're able to share with other people, and we carry that meaning within each other. Technology can store information, but it really doesn't carry it. We're the carriers of meaning. And so the whole project at the end comes back and focuses on that.
Well, you produce works designed for public spaces as well as for institutional environments. Is there a different approach for public art? And more generally, how far can you stretch public everyday life spaces into museum spaces and vice versa?
It's hard for me to think about art without thinking about the viewer. And, I got addicted to art because I enjoyed, my parents when I was very young made me feel like I could do something. It gave me a sense of self. But then I became addicted to the sensations that I could experience, that I could feel. And then I realized that I could create these experiences. I could make them even more intense. I enjoyed the plasticity of being able to create these emotions. And then I realized that I could make other people have feelings and sensations. And so at the end, it's, and I think you can see this in people as they mature, and I think it happens to artists also, that you don't just make something for yourself, that you make it for others, because you want to share that experience. And this is really one of the things that, and I touched on it just a couple moments ago, but what's so beautiful about the art world is that I think all of us individually love these personal experiences, but we want to share how art can transcend our lives, how it has transcended our lives. I think all of us here have transcended through art, but that other people can also have these experiences. And that becomes as meaningful. There's a neuroscientist, Eric Kandel, who informed me that about the viewer's share, the beholder's share. And the beholder's share is that the viewer always finishes a work of art. So it's hard to make any artwork which isn't public, because unless you're the only viewer. But as soon as you have somebody else view the work, it's already public art.
Okay. I think I came to my last question. We started with Istanbul, and let us end with it. I know that you are here in Istanbul for the first time. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. So, what inspirations do you get at the first sight? How do you feel in Istanbul? How do you feel?
You know, I have to say my wife kind of convinced me to have a massage this morning at the hotel. And it was my only the second time in my life that I had a massage. But to kind of experience that I'm capable of making. All of us as human beings are able to do exactly what we would like to do. But there are things that hold us back from that. It's anxiety, it's fear, it's all these things. I'm not an anxious person, I'm not a fearful person, but I'm a human being. And being human, we have these things that block us. And every day, what I try to do is to remove that. Being here in Istanbul is functioning in being able to embrace the reality of history, of human history, of the East and the West, and the pursuits of what we enjoy. I looked out on the waterfront yesterday evening, and the excitement of people interacting together and enjoying experience, enjoying entertainment, enjoying spectacle, but being together, interacting together, and sharing ideas. And that's what I would like to continue with my own life and my own work.
Thank you. Before finishing our session, I want to share my feeling about this carpet work on the wall here. The painter, the artist, is an old, very old, he's very older than I am, but he's a very old friend of mine from Paris. After graduating, I went to Paris and stayed 3 years, and Comet was living next door in Montparnasse. And then we became very good friends. So in '95, the Esma Sultan Palace, now it's a very well-known space in Istanbul. An old palace was demolished and was not functioning. I organized an exhibition of Comet in that palace, and he decided to paint on traditional carpets, Turkish carpets. So why I'm telling you this and why this carpet is here is that, you know, he's now at the hospital intensive care department section, and 3 days ago, just like that, I didn't know that he was able to talk. So he called me, "Where's my painting wall? Did you hang it?" "I will." I said, I will. Don't worry, Comet, I will. Okay. Then we organized it to manage to do it. So I sent him a message. I thought that he wasn't able to talk. I said, "Look, we're going to hang it, and it will be ready, and it will be ready at the Jeff Koons talk. Don't worry, and I will send you a photograph." And he just replied me and said, "Photograph." So I'm going to send the photographs to him right after our session.
But you know what, can we do it all together? Can we all just kind of shift over here? And, let's do it together.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah,
it was so nice and so honored. I said so honored, so much honored, and I'm very happy to meet you. And I'm happy to see you after Doha. I'd like to see you soon in Istanbul or somewhere else.
Absolutely.
But before finalizing again, one more sentence, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to invite Jeff Koons to our reception, our party in Miami, 28th of November. Contemporary Istanbul and American Turkish Society from New York We are having a nice, very wonderful event in the Bass Museum. 28th of November. I will send you the invitation. We'd like to see you there.
I hope we can do it. Let's shift over here and do this photo.